I'm not talking to myself, but it's the only way to pull it. Well, I have my last one. Oh, yeah. You wouldn't talk fast. That's important, didn't I? That is true. People can't manage that.
Good, how are you?
Appreciate you coming out tonight. We've got a full house tonight, and that's always good to see. If you would, please stand with us. David Franks does the invocation.
Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, we take a moment to pause and to say thank you. To not only thank you for the blessings received, but also asking you to continue those blessings, Lord. We pause now, as this nation does, Lord, to remember those who lost their lives due to senseless acts of evil. We pray, Father, for the victims, the families. Father, we pray for those who are investigating the process and having to deal with the medical issues. Father, for everyone involved, we just lift them up to you, Lord. This nation, we live in a time when that sort of evil can strike anywhere. And we give you thanks that we have lived in safety thus far in this place. And we would ask that it would continue. Father, we also know that your word says perfect love casts out fear. And we know the answer for that evil, and we know the answer for the fear. And so we would pray that folks would turn to you, and that they would hold on to your promises, seek you out, and seek your love and your grace. Father, in this place we do that as well. I know we come at different issues from different sides at times, but we unite in the cause that says we need to love one another and treat each other with respect that comes from you. And so, Lord, in this place may that happen. And in this place may you bless those who lead. In this place may you bless those who serve this town in every capacity. Bless those, especially in our emergency services, who go out and stand in harm's way every day. You keep them safe, Lord. You bring them back after each and every day is over with. Father, we also ask you to bless this town, the citizens, and all those in it. Continue to help it to thrive as you would have it, Lord. And Father, as for this nation, we ask your blessings on it. And as always, we ask your blessings on our military, those who serve in harm's way in times of peace and in times of war all around this world. You keep them, Lord. You guard them. You bless their families. You hold them. And you bring them back home safely. And it's in your name we pray, and all God's people say.
Amen. Bobby, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
Fred Steen, a former mayor, is with us tonight. Let's see here, we've got Rod Ryder from the ECC. Rod, he joins us quite often. We appreciate that. He gives us a lot of help, you know. Dorlin Abernathy, a former board member. The next order of business before we get started, if you want to talk tonight, if you haven't already signed up, you need to sign up. So you need to start getting to that while we're getting started. First thing on the agenda is the agenda adoption.
Mayor, I move that we adopt the agenda as presented to us tonight.
Motion? Second. Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next on the agenda is consider adopted minutes from the July 8th, 2019 regular meeting.
Mayor, I move that we adopt the minutes from the July 8th, 2019 regular meeting. Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Who's one of you gentlemen is going to take the Clean Water Act?
Good evening. So before you have a resolution. Basically what this resolution is in reference to, we applied for a grant for the South Upright Basin Sewer System Improvement. And with us being awarded this grant, the town needs to pass a resolution for this. I've already spoken to Mr. Brown and he is willing to read this resolution. But this is what the Federal Clear Water Act amendments is in reference to for the grant that we're receiving for our improvements for the sewer.
Whereas the Federal Clean Water Act Amendment of 1987 and the North Carolina Water Infrastructure Act of 25 have authorized the making of loans and grants to aid eligible units of government in financing the cost of constructing the South Upright Basin sewer system improvements. And whereas the town of Landis has need for and intends to construct South Upright Basin sewer system improvements, and whereas the town of Landis intends to request state grant loan assistance for the project. Now therefore be it resolved by the town council of the town of Landis that the town of Landis, the applicant, will arrange financing for all remaining costs of the project if approved for a state loan or grant award, that the applicant will adopt and place into effect on and before completion of the project a schedule of fees and charges and other available funds which will provide adequate funds for proper operation, maintenance, and administration of the system and the repayment of all principal and interest on the debt. That the governing body of the applicant agrees to include in the loan agreement a provision authorizing the state treasurer upon failure of the town of Landis to make scheduled repayments of the loan to withhold from the town of Landis any state funds that would otherwise be distributed to the local government unit in an amount sufficient to pay all sums then due and payable to the state as repayment of the loan. That the applicants will provide for efficient operation and maintenance of the project on completion of construction thereof. That Kenny Eisenhower, interim town manager, the authorized official, and successors so titled, is hereby authorized to execute and file an application on behalf of the applicant with the state of North Carolina for a grant loan to aid in the construction of the project described above. That the authorized official and successor so titled is hereby authorized and directed to furnish such information as the appropriate state agency may request in connection with such application or the project, to make the assurances as contained above and to execute such documents as may be required in connection with the application. That the applicant has subsequently complied or will subsequently comply with all federal, state, and local laws, rules, and regulations and ordinance applicable to the project and to the federal and state grant and loans pertaining thereto, adopted this 5th day of August, 2019, at Town Hall, Landis, North Carolina. I move that we accept this resolution as presented.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, comments from the department heads?
On July the 17th, the town had a major power outage. Well, some people in the town may not know, we actually had two outages, major outages within a week of each other in the town. The first one being a week earlier, the mill, who is served by Duke Power, their substation went down, and they had partial power for up to 5 days. We had experienced extremely high heat, which means a loaded system of current for all day and all night. When that substation for the electric substation for the mill had their issues, there was a football coach on Corlight Field that said they'd seen a basically electrical fireball that went around the mill and up past the mill. Well, that would go all the way up to where our substation is and where the pole feeds our substation also, because Duke Power comes in and feeds our substation and the mill substation. Can't determine this, but it appears that even though it was a week following with a heavy load, that there was a compromise in a Duke line that fell, the primary line that fell across our lines. Can't say that that was outage, but yet theoretically I think it was part of it. The reason I said that is we had no actual equipment failure in our substation. What had happened was we had these isolators. That's what these are. They don't, current doesn't go through these. They're basically like an insulator, and they're made of porcelain. They're rated at 20,000 volts potentially. Our voltage on our side of the substation is only 7,000 volts. The transmission lines are 44,000 volts. All three buses that have these bells or isolators got extremely hot, as you can see by this, evident this, and basically exploded. It even caused a grass fire within the substation. So when these got extremely hot from a load, the air switches on the Duke side opened up. We had one wire that fed a transformer, a very small transformer like you see on those poles out there. It was about 15 kVA. It had nothing to do with the power that goes out throughout the town. That only is there for security lights within the substation and for battery backup of our main breakers. I had stated that, and it got misinformation that our transformer in the substation went down, and that's why we lost power. No, that's why the substation didn't have light that night if we needed them. It's totally different. We do not have a transformer inside the substation. The Duke side has the transformer. All we have is voltage regulators and main breakers. I just want to kind of clarify that. We had our side up. We replaced these isolators while the system was open, knowing Duke was going to have to come out here. We then went ahead and replaced these. We had our side up within about 2.5 hours. We then had to wait for Duke, in fairness to them, because they had to relocate here in order to take that line off of our lines. And they had to get a 100-foot bucket truck here to do, which they didn't have one anywhere close. I think it was within about an hour and a half away. During that time, as you know, we had all the signal lights, traffic lights in town was out. Everybody was without power. Our lift stations, other ones that had generator backups, didn't. We're having to coordinate that. We have police in place, fire in place to help with traffic control. City Hall here, we have put our 50 kVA generator here to plug and play so we could have power here, so because our phone system wasn't working, our radio system wasn't working, because the water tank didn't have power either, so we had to take a portable generator. There was a lot that had to be coordinated within that time. And since Duke had told me they didn't know where they could get a truck, I got concerns with the high heat. Could we make somewhere accommodate people to get in from the heat. And the school system, they were already open for that day, so we asked them if they would let us use that as a cooling off station, which they did. And we're very appreciative of them. The Red Cross and also Emergency Management System brought personnel to help with that. Overall, I think our guys did a good job considering. I just wanted from Landis Power to have my version of what happened, because when a good representation got there, he saw us replacing these, said, they got problems on their side, and that's what was reported. And they didn't mention the line that was laying across our line. So I've had that backfed around, which would open up the switches. So I just want, not saying that one or the other caused it, but my opinion, that's what may have caused it. Another thing for Landis Power that I want to clarify is we have a new customer coming in, the Dollar General, and they are on Highway 29, and that is being provided by Landis Power, power that. However, they have a Duke Power pole right in the middle of the property. By territorial rights, that makes it them a Duke customer. Duke that's the same 44,000 volts I was talking to you about. He couldn't serve that building. So they signed a waiver for us to be able to provide power there. We should have everything installed. We have contractors doing that. Should be everything installed by the end of the week. We've been waiting for the Dollar General to occur some easements, and once that's finalized, then we brought in our contractors to do that work. As far as the temporary power, we never denied them temporary power. Actually, we discussed temporary power, and I don't know if this got confused in the talk about the permanent power issues versus the temporary power. We had temporary power in a lot right beside it, and could gave them. All they had to do was get their saw pole installed and go to the county, get it inspected, and we could have provided them temporary power. However, they never did that. I think they've been using generators. So I just want to clarify a couple of things when it comes to the Dollar General. Also going on with the fire department, I gave all you gentlemen our June and July reports. I wanted to add, we also did our half a year, and so far this year we ran 379 calls, have had 36 drills, and 183 total man hours. And now on to Parks and Rec. We'll have 2 cruise-ins. One is September the 6th, a Friday, from 5 to 9, and the other one I think is October the 4th from 5 to 9 also. The Fall Festival date is set for Saturday, October the 26th. And the pool hours starting this Thursday when the school starts will be going back to our after evening hours schedule, which would be 4 to 8. Weekends would still be on Saturday 10 to 8, Sunday 1 to 8 p.m. And on September the 2nd, which is Labor Day Monday, will be the same as the Saturday schedule, and that will be the last day of the pool opening. And as far as paving in town, the North Carolina DOT, as a lot of you may know, has completed the paving on North Chapel. Right now, I call it our South Main Street, or Old Highway 29. They are paving from Airport Road down, I think, to Loop Road and down in Canal. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ron.
Mr. Mayor, if you'll indulge me here, Mr. Bill Bader from Waste Pro is our contractor for the trash service and our formal recycling services here at our request. If you would, Mr. Bader, I would like for you just to speak to a couple of questions the residents have had that you can probably address in more detail than I have been able to or can. I know one common question is about the colors of the trash cans, and are all of them going to be changed out and that type thing, or are they going to be a mix of trash cans? And I think the answer is yes. And then the other thing is if you would speak to the state of recycling in general as far as the changes with China and how things are going and what happened as far as trash being essentially rejected by Republic and how we got to the place that we're at.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Appreciate the time being able to come to address any questions you might have. As far as the colors of the trash cans, we right now have gray trash cans, green and blue trash cans. There's still a little variety out there. I have instructed the drivers to dump any of those colors. So no matter what color you have, it should be serviced. Our primary color for you is green with a blue lid. That's the garbage color. As we move forward, if your cart is damaged, if it's old, has any defects, we'll get you switched right away. And what we're doing is switching the gray ones and some of the older gray ones out as we're seeing those. So it's going to take a little bit longer. Today we made some efforts to get about another 540 blue recycle cans off the street here. We still had some left. So as far as the colors go, you should be dumped no matter what color it is. And if you have any problems or defects with your can, please notify the city. And I've been up myself over the last month trying to get everybody either a cart. We had somewhat of a mishap during some of the change to where there was some residents that had 3 and 4 carts, and we tried to get that cleaned up. And unfortunately, we had some residents that ended up with no cart in the process. So I was coming up every day with carts trying to make sure everybody got a cart timely. So if you're one of the folks that ended up with no cart for a little while, I apologize for that. And again, if you have any issues, please let us know. As far as the recycling goes, recycling is changing every day. And we've approached the city on the recycling side because we had a lot of contamination with the recycling. And a lot of folks were just using it as a second garbage cart. We did have some folks, and if there's anybody in here they were beautiful. They were doing everything they were supposed to do, and I felt bad for them that we had this stop, but the majority were contaminated. Now some were contaminated with things that you wouldn't generally think would be a contaminating factor, and one is plastic bags. Most people would put their stuff in a plastic bag. That's how you gather it together and put it in the cart. And the MRF will not accept plastic bags. So when we open up the tailgate and see a lot of plastic bags, they immediately kick the load out and say, no, can't dump it. Now when that happens, when we roll in there and go over the scale, we're now charged. This comes as a surprise to a lot of people. We're charged as a company $86. That's our rate. The regular gate rate can be as high as $112 a ton. So $112 to just bring it into the MRF and have it processed. And then the second thing is, if it is contaminated and it's rejected, we get charged another $112 a ton for them to reload it and take it to the landfill. So now, you're as high as $224 per ton on rejected material. With that being said, the state of the material was pretty rough, and when we talked to the city, just said, what's going to happen is we'll get rejected. We're looking at $224 a ton, as much as $224 a ton. And then the next thing they do is they fine you. So you're fined $250 on the first offense, and then they jump to $500 and $750, and it keeps going up where they just ban your material. So it was kind of a rough decision. Moving forward, I can tell you right now, we have other municipalities. We service the city of Clearwater, and we have shut down a lot of customers in the city of Clearwater on some of the recycling due to the same factors, plastic bags and contamination. So the city is ending a lot of individual contracts for recycling. Recycling's going to get tougher, and here with me tonight, Jennifer Herring. She's our government affairs, and she knows a good bit on this recycling side as well, and has been on top of it. We can ask her to join me a little on that as well. On the some of the materials that they are starting to really push to not have, and it's been coming as a surprise, is glass. From the end of the year, they're looking at possibly banning glass. It hasn't been done yet, but they're really starting to strongly discourage having glass. So recycling has become kind of challenging, and based on the material here, it was a lot more cost-effective to just eliminate it than try to move forward with it and eventually be banned after paying quite a few fines. So it's the best bet for the city at this point. I'm going to ask Jennifer, you want to jump in and talk a little more about the recycling center?
Hi, Jennifer Herring, Director of Government Relations with Waste Pro, and thank you for allowing us to come in. From a recycling standpoint, just a couple things. I manage 17 municipal contracts in the state of North Carolina currently. Of that, about 75% of those cities have already eliminated glass out of the stream and have seriously talked about eliminating the program. They haven't yet at this time, but glass is the biggest component for us. So we're seeing that be the biggest issue with removing it from the stream, and it's a very difficult process to do. There's a lot of cost involved in education and things like that. But one of the biggest issues we faced here was just contamination from a trash standpoint. So that cart had true trash and food residue in it, and that's the reason we were facing significant fines from our local, what we call MRF, Material Recycling Facility, which there's only one in Charlotte. So you don't have a huge player here. They were pretty much the monopoly for us. So when you have contamination, it becomes a very costly thing for the town.
Thank you all very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Certainly appreciate you.
I just had one more question. I don't mean to put you on the spot. And this I meant to ask you before because I've been asking. I don't know the answer. I know the board was never made aware that the recycling cans had been going to the dump, but that's something that we, in our discussions, that y'all informed us about, and then of course that's led our actions to eliminate the program. Did y'all ever have that discussion, or was that the decision made by the former town manager that we were going to do that, or how did that happen?
That was discussions made with former employees of the town, yes. There were several involved in that decision making.
Okay.
Yes.
That's all I have. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, folks.
All righty. Mayor, you mentioned Rod Crowder earlier. Just want to let you guys know tomorrow, Rod and his staff, as well as the Electric Cities, and Ron and myself have a meeting with them that will be involving some property here for a site-ready plan. So that will be going on tomorrow. We're really excited about what Rod has done for Landis, but also for Rowan County. He and his staff have done really well. In reference to the FARDF grant for the passive part, I did receive an email and have a meeting with them in August the 26th up in Raleigh, and so hopefully we'll find something out then. Also, I told you guys in the last meeting that I put in a grant for the high hazard dam for the levee over there for Landis Lake, and received confirmation on it that we are now top 4 in the state. So we should know something in September whether we're going to be awarded that grant or not.
Thank you, Brandon.
Yes, sir.
Was that the top 4, you said?
Yes, sir. The phone call that I received was that out of all the applicants who put in, we were in the top 4 for the grant. Thank you.
I'd like for Sergeant Kevin Young and his lovely wife Megan to come up, please. Come on, Megan. Sergeant Young is a veteran officer with the Landis Police Department. He was previously with the Kannapolis Police Department. He is also a part-time firefighter. He has achieved what very few officers achieve in North Carolina. He has achieved his advanced law enforcement certificate. It's the highest level of achievement that an officer can have. Now, officers can go to training, they can get degrees, they can do all kinds of things, but North Carolina recognizes different levels of certifications which officers can achieve. Kevin's a trainer for us. He's certified as an instructor. He has many other certifications. He's a great asset to our department. He's one of the few officers that ever received this award, and I don't want to say it never happens, but it doesn't happen enough. So I'd like for us to give Kevin and his wife a big hand. As you can see, that's a very nice gift.
Got anything? No, sir. Okay, we're moving on. Comments from board members.
I have a few. We've had some comments, requests that the board owes the town an apology for some of the things that's going on as far as our financial embezzlement, accusation, et cetera. And I want to handle that. I'm not speaking for the board. I'm just speaking for me. And I do apologize to the town for the things that's happened to our town. It's really sad. It was surprising to me when we began to see these things unfold. The things that I must apologize for is, number one, I placed way too much trust in our former town manager and finance manager. When I came on board here, they'd been employed here for 12 and 15 years, I believe, long about there. Everybody would talk about how great they were, what a good job had been done, organizing charity events, etc. Everything seemed like it was a perfect thing, that they were professional, honest, above board. That appeared to be the front that I got. As things began to unfold, I learned, and you learned through the newspaper, etc., that that was not the case. When we take office, whoever of you sits in these chairs in January, you'll be living with the budget that we adopted, which will go until the end of next June. That's how it was with us. We worked with that budget, tried to get ourselves educated about that budget with several meetings, and so that budget ended. We adopted a new budget in the end of June of the first year that we were in office. At the end of that budget year, every month we were getting financial statements. I began to detect what I thought was some things that didn't look right. At the end of that first full year, we got our end of the year financial report from our accountants. I looked at it even more than I'd been looking at the monthly statements, and I noticed things that I thought was wrong. I approached the town manager and the finance manager and pointed these things out, specifically where an amount was budgeted and an actual amount that was spent was out of line by considerable percentages, specifically in the salaries of each department. They were over by 10%, 12%, 20%. When I approached them about that, I was told that it was because of overtime. When we have a power outage, had to call the people in. Had a sewer stop up, had to call the people in. Even though we had a lot of overtime in administration, I said, did they come in too during power outages and stuff? They didn't have an answer for all that. I requested a copy of everybody's W-2 form after that went on. I was refused, and they told me that it was not legal for me to get that information. My reply was, I'm an alderman, I should be able to get anything that you got. They wouldn't give it to me. And it drug on, and finally I asked, towards pretty close to the time when we began to hear about retirement, I said, well, I just want a copy of all the information from our payroll company. I want to see what everybody's making. And if I can't see the W-2, just let me have the payroll information. I'll get it for you. Of course, I never got it. So my apology is that I should have pursued that further. I didn't really have any idea at the time that I could have went to our own police department and they could have investigated. After all, it was their boss too. So it was kind of a tough situation. If I had that to do again, something like that ever came up again, and if you're sitting on this board, if you don't get the answers you want, go to the SBI, go to the district attorney, go somewhere so you can get a satisfactory answer. I didn't, and I failed that. I should have really pushed that a lot harder. It was already a year and a half. A lot of the damage had already been done. But if it could have stopped then when I thought I found it, it probably would have saved the town $100,000 that was taken after that fact. So I'm sorry I didn't do a better job there. Another thing I apologize for is assuming that the budget process was okay. It was the right way to do it. After all, it had been done this way by 2 or 3 boards ahead of our board, assumed it was okay, The biggest error in that was, again, the salaries were lumped into one lump sum number. After a lot of questioning and pressuring, we finally did get a copy of the approved, underline that, the approved salaries for everybody on staff. As you know, if you looked at our website and saw the W-2s, the approved salaries and what was actually taken was far different for several individuals. So I should have maybe questioned the budget process more. I'd encourage anybody new on the board, get educated. I've asked Roger if he's here, whoever's here, we need to have a boot camp for all the new people on the board to learn the processes, question these things. I assumed that the former boards had all things in order. I mean, after all, these people served on former boards. I was a newcomer. I never served in government before. You probably know I'm not running for re-election, so I'm not planning to serve again. But I would assume that when I took over, that all these boards, all these men that I knew of, that, were great top-notch people, everything was decent and in order. So I guess they were fooled just like we were fooled. So I apologize for not maybe digging into that a little bit further. There's some things we don't have to apologize for. When we took office, the year I took office, the budget has allotted $30,000 a year for alderman expense. This year is $3,000. Is that right, Roger? I think $3,000 for alderman expense this year.
It's round about that. I can't say for sure without it front.
I'm pretty sure it's $3,000. So I don't apologize for cutting the expense that aldermen can spend on trips and visits and meetings, etc. So we don't need to apologize for that. Also, from what I'm told, we have no city streets that have been paved in the last 15 years. I'm proud of that. I don't apologize for the fact that we've spent some of your money, charged registration fee on your cars, but last year we had 3 streets paved, the first time in 15 years that we paved streets that wasn't paved by the state. This year we're paving 5 streets. So that money is being spent for what it was asked to be spent for. I don't apologize for taking that money and paving our streets. They needed it. I don't apologize for the fact that this board caught and stopped the embezzlement, the charge of embezzlement. This went on for, go back and look back at the W-2s. They're on our website. You can look at it, the transparency tab. Apparently this started as many as at least 2 boards ahead of us. 10 or 12 years the embezzlement started. So I don't apologize for the fact that we caught it and we stopped it. I'm kind of proud of that. Right now, sitting with Roger a lot and Kenny, I'm convinced the town's probably in the best financial shape, even though we've had a lot of money taken from us. We have a better fund balance, accurate, true, no hidden numbers in there than we've had in years and years and years. And finally, I paid my power bill today, and our electric rates are now the lowest that they've been, I'm told, in over 15 years. So I'm proud of that. We don't have to apologize for that. That's all I got.
So, thank you. I'm sure we all feel the same way, but you've done a good job expressing it. Tony?
After some articles that have been in the paper here lately, people started calling me and asking me if we were going to start an annexation program again, like down 84 Road to the I-85 interchange. I said, well, I don't know whether people are informed or not, but City of Kannapolis has annexed that. They're running the water and sewer down there because they had $22 or $3 million to do it. And the developer down there was able to let them annex that ahead of citizens building houses. To annex any place now outside the city limits, 80% of the affected residents has to vote for that annexation. There's no more forced annexation. There was also articles in the paper that said we need to extend power lines down and get people to buy power from us. Well, being that Duke Power is a little bit cheaper than we are, I don't know why they'd want to buy from us. And secondly, we can't make them buy from us. Duke Power would have to release them to us, and that ain't going to happen. So I don't like people blowing smoke screens and running their mouth in the paper and misquoting facts about the way things are. And there was closer to $25,000 spent on Myrtle Beach rather than $17,000. And we have people making unnecessary trips with their wives to Raleigh, a lot of trips. Mr. Mahaley stopped all that. He put a stop to that. I've not been to any meetings except with the EOC in Salisbury, about 3 of those. I haven't seen any meetings I necessarily needed to go to. Our town manager and finance directors, they can get information we need from the state or whoever and pass it on to us. So there's been a lot of things that's been stopped, and you need to pay attention to what some of these people are saying, because some of it's not true. That's it.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Have all talk to me about it after the meeting. I'll be outside.
I've got a few things. I think that some of our board members said about everything I've wanted to say, have been saying for a year and a half. So it's out there for you. You can take it, do what you want with it. We'd like to bring a couple of things. Like to recognize, let's see, I don't know if anyone knows or not, but Lillian Barnes died just about 2 days ago, I think. She was buried today. This is Billy Barnes' mother. Everyone, if you live in Landis, you know who Billy Barnes is. To most of us that grew up in the young years in the 50s, he was still something else. He was something else. He was pretty much a hero to every young guy that went to school around here. His mother was 102 years old. I am so sorry. I don't take the paper anymore, and that one slipped by me. I went by the Lutheran Church today and saw the funeral going on, and I went home and called and found out who it was. Any of y'all that know Billy personally, you might want to, if you see him, if you didn't know about this, tell him. She was, I've known her, well, my whole life, and she was quite a lady. She raised Billy to be quite a guy. So, that being said, the next order of business is, and while Rod Ryder is here, is Rod still here? I'm sure you probably know this, but I just found out today. Mike Wallace just bought the building next to the car wash down there. The IE, is it IE or EI?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's the old Harmony Lab. They were down there cleaning it up, doing some trimming, and actually, it's looked awful rough lately. But Mike keeps his properties up. They were mowing, it's looking good. So, Brandon, that might be another property for y'all to talk to him about. I know that you're having some contact with him about the mill company down there. So that's a welcome sight. If other than the mill, it turned out to be our biggest fan and property, really, dollar-wise, he probably is. So that's all I have tonight. The next thing on the agenda is comments from citizens.
I've got the sign-up sheet, Mr. Mayor. The first name is Miss Nadine Chair. Nadine.
Nadine, okay.
Nadine Cherry, 410 West Garden Street, Landis. Well, I was going to tell Kenny, or excuse me, interim not financial manager, that I've been in the archives again. We've been talking about for the last good while about the water and sewer rates. Well, I knew I had it. I just had to go back and find it. This is back from October the 10th, October the 8th of 2015. This was your slogan down there at your business. Tired of outrageous electrical and water bills? Elect Mike Mahaley, Landis Mayor. There's a lot of things that have gone on that people that are sitting here are probably not aware of, probably because a lot of people have probably never ever done these doors before like I have. I have got minutes back from, minutes and videos back from 2004. I think it was right after former Mayor Steen left.
Okay.
And there are a lot of things that have been hidden and covered up, just like what Tommy was talking about. I've said it to y'all before, I believe it was May the 2nd of 2016, what I told y'all then.
Okay.
And anybody wants to look at it, can go to the minutes, look it up.
Well, I usually don't respond, but I'm gonna respond to this one, Nadine. I sit out here and I let people come up here and say things. You're true about my slogan. And 5 months after Tommy and I were elected, we lowered the electorate rate 5 cents. 5 cents. 5%. First time at that time, it got up, in some cases, almost up to 20%. So is this kind of contradictory about, what you just said? Besides that, this board just voted on the lowest electorate rates that Landis has had. Well, I can't never remember them being any lower.
3 minutes.
And that was, let's talk about my promise. Yeah, I believe it said electricity and water. And Tommy and myself, within the second year, worked on a contract with the city of Kannapolis to buy water from them instead of Salisbury, which has saved us thousands and thousands of dollars. So that's from my archives. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, you took out some of my time, so I actually still have.
Well, I'm sorry. Will you just use all your time?
But anyway, like I'm saying, I'm digging in my archives, and I will be out with some more stuff.
Well, that'll be great. We look forward to hearing it.
Next is Mr. Stanley Sloop.
My name is Stanley Sloop, 705 West Ryder Avenue. I want to, first of all, thank y'all guys for what y'all said tonight. I appreciate it. I realize that what's gone on in the past is the past, and we're trying to go forward.
Right. Yes.
But this has really been on my mind, and I wanted to speak about it tonight. Recently, through social media or some other form of advertisement, some previous records of financial budgets for travel have been spoke of, whether it be meetings or meals or going out of town or whatever. I want to say that I have no problems with town leaders and employees having these budgeted expenses. However, in the past, such meetings, trips, excursions, I believe in the expenditures included alcohol on some of these out-of-town trips or whatever. I think going forward, this needs to stop.
Amen.
I want to say that most taxpayers are or would be against tax dollars buying alcohol in these budgets. And with that said, I want to personally say that I don't care if y'all drink on trips or whatever. Just use your own money to buy it. That's all I got.
We have enacted that law.
Yes.
If we go out, even if it's a state dinner or anything like that, if any of our people, if we're paying for it, if you drink beer or any kind of alcohol, you have to go up and pay for it yourself. There's a separate ticket.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all.
Mr. Mayor, last name on the list is Ms. Meredith Smith.
Meredith Smith, 401 West Hope Street. Tommy, I want to thank you. I've asked for that since March, since I stood up here and pretty much laid it out in February, and I appreciate it. I did a lot of work to try to figure out what was going on. I'd watched it for a couple of years, and so I appreciate that you asked for W-2s. I had asked other people to ask for them, and guess they never saw fit, but I do appreciate you apologizing to the people, because we are the people of Landis, and we do deserve that, and rightfully so. You do too. I have one question before I go into something else. It says consider going into executive session to discuss legal and personal matters. Are you guys coming back in like you did last month to then adjourn the meeting?
Yes,
So
ask me, talk to me, please.
Okay, well, last time he
Well, I'm the mayor.
addressed that. I understand that you're the mayor. Last time Mr. Hosey
I run
addressed
the
it.
meeting, so address it to me.
Okay, excuse me, sir. I was just asking Mr. Hosey because last time he did.
Well,
Okay, so you are coming back. So if
Yes,
people
we are.
want to know, we need to stay around.
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I was going, after we...
Okay, well, last time that wasn't made clear to some people, so people were upset that they had left, so they wanted to know. And then second, I just want to remind all the citizens that there is going to be a flea market up here this weekend. I know that they would love to see you guys. So it's Saturday and Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, it concludes citizens' comments.
We're going to go into executive session.
We'll need a motion.
Yeah, well, so there might be some action taken when we come back. So if you want to wait around, make yourself at home. We're going to be leaving. You do not have to leave. We're going to go over to another chamber over there. Y'all just make yourself comfortable.
I move we go into executive session.
I second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
I appreciate you. Sorry I addressed the wrong individual. Hello.
And folks, just a reminder that the YouTube stream is still continuing. I hope you don't say anything.
Hey Jessica, I'm Meredith. Nice to meet you. So Katie and I, so we missed quite a bit. We lived in New York, which we lived in, we tried to go. So it's just, well, yeah. Oak Way. Okay, Katie. Landis Oaks Way.
this golf course that I got.
All right, let me write that down. Give me just a second to get this
What's the announcement going to be?
What about the,
Okay, let's do it. Celebrate 13 years.
I'll take it. I appreciate you.
Excuse me, do you know what
We do not. That's what I'm
No, I know they also mentioned sales. Notice we're going back, with this county.
Oh, yeah, the third person had it. But like Doylan, I mean, I think they're not sure. He was on the board until 13%.
He actually.
Come on up here, Daryl. Daryl's running off separate.
Mike Fraser. Mike Fraser. He actually, I knew he might come home. He and his wife were talking. He was a real family. We did meetings all the time. There was $8,000 in bicycle. Travel in, go to meetings. Every time something come up, he'd go just call it.
That may be what we're, again, I mean, I just think that they, we gotta make sure.
Power agents. Power agents over that don't make any difference. State runs county and city.
Fred's the former mayor. Did you meet Fred? He comes back there and what's your Fred? He's very knowledgeable.
He worked for the building.
Yeah.
So he worked pretty good.
So Bobby Brown, he sits to the right, he's running as mayor. So Bobby is on the board right now, but he's running for mayor. So if he doesn't win, then he'll take back his alderman seat. Then you have Doylan Abernathy, Mr. Sammy, he was in the very front, on the left-hand side, he's running for mayor as well, and then myself and Mark Cannell, who was in this. Are you?
No, we like to use last Friday or Friday before last.
How you doing, Mike Fraser?
Mike Fraser.
Nice to meet you. How you doing?
Jessica.
That's my granddaughter, Kristen. Hi. Nice to meet you. No, that's no problem. I'll try a little bit. Keep sitting, so. Hey.
Would you know these? No, what you do is you picture the water in the
Where's the camera? Is this the camera for the
That's it, Fred.
I know it was from this angle, but I can't hardly see it, so she... That's good. Hey, what can you find? Okay. What side of the
I've never seen anything over there.
Yeah.
Get up, try through.
On the backside, on the
Get up, go on the water.
That's everything right.
It does, man, it runs slow, don't flex. It's got number 21 on it, see, it don't have about that much front end, you can walk around, barely enough to get around. It's full of seats in the back, it got a big platform, like a swim platform with ladder. You don't need all that, what do you do? I saw about all of them back at They put the space on the back, there was swim platform. That thing's got a seat on the back, this is wide as and it changes all different configurations. You sit forward, right, sideways, lay down, lay in. Got a little road right there with skin all things that. They went up there and
So we come across 150, and it's the second
it's
one
on the
right.
right. Oh, no, do the road, turn left. It's on the left, on the corner. Right across from Harris Street.
Okay.
All skin, big hair and all things.
I dropped in there, looked at some of their stuff. They look like they on top of it.
They went up there, well, Ginger stayed up there 1 week. And they went down, brought down on Wednesday. Went back bought Thursday.
Good.
It was sold on Saturday. Sold on Saturday. Like the Saturday after they bought it.
Yeah.
Put on Craigslist and Facebook. Live down on the Go Woods. He called up there and talked to him. He told me, he said, I got an hour later, he was up there. They was out, him and his wife was out on us about an hour later. He bought it
I'm
Monday.
thinking, hey, how you?
They bought it on Monday. They come and got it Saturday. Saturday weekend.
Wow.
Trailer on.
I don't see anymore.
Where'd you buy it? That's what I like. Well, how long is it?
They used to run us out of here, staying here.
Yeah.
Last time, I guess just comfort. They go over in another building, they'll come back in here and bring it me.
When I was mayor, we kind of did it both ways. So depending on how big the crowd is. If it's a big crowd, we just.
Yeah, they went 4, 5, 6, they'd run us outside.
One or two in here, we just, hey, can y'all just do it? We had to still take notes and everything. It was recorded.
You're on a stop right now.
Well, hopping it up.
So I'm gonna do
Until the team that food. We'll give them about 8:15. Yeah. What time is it?
8:01. And then they may or may not do nothing. They just come in here and adjourn.
He's watching the YouTube. When you see a word,
Oh, that little which one? Oh, there. That's why I wait. I don't know what it was.
That's what they
I turn on the light on you, like I do a menu.
Waves, so figure I would say hi.
So when I do that,
We might do it. Oh, you do?
That looks good on it. This right here, you can't read, I can't see that.
Well.
I'm gonna say, who is this?
I just thought I might ask him, where's my That's right. She don't want to hold him. That's funny. Whatever's going on. And then Brad, they all kind of get together on Sunday night. He ain't gonna hang out with me.
Hey, sir. How you doing? Yes, sir.
How you been doing?
Forever and ever. I've never seen one. I'm sorry. Every finger. I've never seen him in anything else. And I'm gonna be
Hold up, it's looking at
Yeah, always wondering if you're going to
well, and that, I was there since, I was trying to leave to go to the beach, but I couldn't get any of the workers Monday.
Your wife leave, they can call her back up. I'm gonna call her back. I'm gonna tell her to call her back up. Give me two of them, I'll put one in my yard, one in
a little bit of everything.
Always
As a volunteer, search, that's what we're doing. And after I research, I go
Where you and I met.
Not much. Have you guys looking at it?
They don't mind when you're going to resign. Next time he comes up for election anyway.
don't mind it when there's not crazy stuff going on. Other than that, probably half the crazy. Well, it happens.
Smart people.
We had a forum Saturday on my brother's visiting, and they didn't quite read really as they were supposed to, so more than halfway over.
She had heart bypass surgery, so she's in the hospital.
I think her candidate's
She said she grew up about the time you said about find out.
No, not at all.
It's just easier.
Right.
She was so nervous that
Way easier.
I don't know if she does, but
Mark, this is
Jerry.
the last one, before that. We were here. Yeah.
He's got our HOA committee though too, before.
It's supposed to wait.
Yeah. Hopefully, we hope that they
This one.
And try to use donut shops there. There, the donut house, by up to Home Depot shopping center. Or Jeff, there's lots of barbecues, yeah, come up from Home Depot, there's that, road place, one of the shops, on the same side. And right across from suburban pizza. And they don't feel just a good day.
Right.
And welcome to the
Right, thank you, we appreciate your help. Is he just volunteering, or is he on his own? He did like this.
But I mean, I've heard other people say that guy started out with a food truck, and it was like a bacon, everything's bacon. Okay. Part of that too is okay.
So many. I've 636
Now it looks good, yeah, it looks good for a first grader.
They don't have games for there might be somebody else in there.
Rudy's right here. So you would take G.
Yes.
His term was over 95 and he came in 96. So unless you get yeah, that'd be right.
You and Dawn.
Then James, then Mike again.
Oh, really?
He paid those or something?
Getting ready to put Mike's in and took mine down to Max at Ronnie. Ron lost the knee. Somebody lost
With the Billy Ray Barn?
Got a lot out of it.
Tina would have bought that thing for you.
Probably got a lot for the play.
Did you hear me? Yeah, I said Tina would have bought that for you.
The anti-glare glass, playing, there's one picture that goes in
Came in 2004?
Jump on YouTube and watch the one.
Fred. Mike came in 2002 or 4.
It would have been right around spring of 2004.
2004, yeah. Because Fred was the mayor and he went to House of Representatives. The gentleman that passed away and he ran for that. And so he and Mike were reappointed. So he was on 2004 to 2007, and we had James First, and then we had Dennis Brown, then we had Mike Haley again, and we're here.
Somebody makes some money.
Well, if you go to online, it started in 2010. It took me on for 9 years. Not here, he's the younger
You know, when the Republicans let the Republicans speak behind me, that going around, you know, like the beauty shop stuff. That stuff that's been around for 5 years, it's all under being investigated. It all comes to fruition. You'll go back and put back forward generations. I think you've got to get some of it to shut it down.
I've heard today that I watched him the fools right here, directly behind it, there's like back and forth like this. On Trey Master. I got back to
Anything All right, okay. I can give her something. Nice meeting you. Nice meeting
And now that's registered. Yeah.
Come out and find out what's going on. That's cool. That's good. Keep doing it.
It'll be due. Yeah. He did not say that.
Sleeping at over 40. We did. That's all I see y'all before somewhere. That's what it is. I see y'all. Good deal. Yeah. At least we went on.
It'll be half an hour down.
Here's our time.
Take a drone and do all that.
Bill for ABC store for $230,000.
About 3 months ago. I want to do it during wave season. Like April, May.
Hey, how are you?
You don't know who's taking it.
We look at this one. Keep middle and county.
It's right there.
He more concerned about himself getting in trouble than he was helping. I don't blame him. He ain't got started. He don't know around. We still in the house. No problem. Okay. They just still come to us. They can't communicate with anybody coming out. It ain't just gonna open the city.
Take good care.
Y'all get late, holler at us. Sir, take care, sir. Please, y'all get back late, holler at us.
Okay. See you guys.
Hello. Yeah, I'm at the tail end. No, it's all right. No, that's all right. They can, wait a minute, going on right now. They call in another meeting.
Just say, buddy, it looked on me, and there's just a water cave, and the sprinkle is 4,000-year-old glacier water for $120 a glass.
Nobody does.
Water, and then it's got house water at the bottom, so that's free. So I said, I'm looking at the water.
Huh?
So I said, Paul, I said, it's probably going to be this just hard stuff. They needed to just rip it in. When we get this suit's going to have us all matching colored t-shirts, you know. Forgives me. So we're going to have to wear those the whole week.
Bro. Yeah, yeah. Well, let me tell you what.
She wore it, but I just wore it. I was wishing her brother had died. He was Mr. Cincinnati. 2 years ago. His apartment, Cincinnati, really is a baseball team.
So the whole family rich.
Oh my word, my sister graduated 60. Charles Smith, I mean, it was just a combination of both her grandfather was ambassador to Luxembourg and 30, right before World War II. He became FDR's Commerce Secretary. That was what occurred. And he was doing reach for you to find out a little bit about what they were lobbying. She got all this. But she really lives like this. Once they get to the consignment shop, you know, shop, you know, we would all say, never looked at other stuff. We've had some of them making us say,
So what's his background?
he was Jack's red collar. Brother John.
So he's y'all's age. They're y'all's age.
Yeah, he's about 62. She's probably 7. Huge, they have a lot of money after the interstate came through, and so they went like,
So we can do that.
They could argue RV, he would help prepare RV for people. But, oh, he'll sit at the house, and he'll be coming through something like a cruise, Disney cruise, and say, so, here's a Disney cruise, exactly what he does. But let's see, we're pretty happy with him. They did. Cruises this year. Disney cruises. And they would get all this stuff like more. They'll go out Saturday, come out, but they've got the same one, have the same cabin for the next week. And it's that crazy. Someone said they're just they are different, and that's the deal. Is if we take, and they'll pay for, and a lot of times those big builders say, no, this is not going
That's all I can say right now. I looked at him and I thought I left my phone sitting there. I'm trying to talk. I had a borrowing moment. Hey, I've been walking around with a boy like this, and then I get to look at his phone. I'm like, where's my phone at? That's when he really have a borrowing moment. Y'all seen you sitting down, I looked, I thought, I left my phone in that chair. I know what up there. It said personnel. Legal matter? Section 2, discuss legal and personnel. Evidently, it must be heated. Heated, or not really, they ain't really come together on it, whatever it is. Maybe we'll fire everybody. All of them home.
The problem is, she has these injections, and Tom knows what
Well, they won't hire her. What was it,
I've got stuff.
That's finance director. Yeah, they got that on, that's posted online.
And then she might also have some issues. But they're trying to get where they can balance out the medicines so that they think some of them.
Mayor, I told his wife she stayed here and got a pick in the paper. I know she did.
And that's the thing, I hope that they can balance some of this out now that the injection that she's having to take part of it.
Yeah, can't tag you.
Yeah, she probably
Probably got me blocked.
and that keeps it. But when she was on that, and the whole time we were there, she's great. I encourage you. My word, she made appetites, she made cake, she made pie, she made us a deal. Now she has to cook and she can't tell people and all. She has to I can tell some things that happen, that she's used to.
Nobody saw that one sound.
They didn't show it. They need to be she's going in there asking for anything and everything that you can make. And everything they give her was all, they give out what they want people to see. Except for the payroll company. The only reason they done that, so they wouldn't call it, which they federal government, taxes. They pay taxes on the law. They wanted to keep that on the straight. They didn't want them to be charged on it. So that'd be serious business. So you go on the Town Landis website. It's got a transparency page. You can hit it. It goes down. It shows their WT. It shows how far back it was. I think Mary said what 2010. People was making like 86,000. Next year it went to 127,000. And then it just kept climbing about 20, 30 a year. Last year he was 17. He made $361,000, 26,000. But they reported that to the government. So they pay taxes. That kept them in trouble with state for tax rate, whatever you call it. If you go in there and ask for it,
people there.
You heard
Stay up there.
Tommy Gordon. See, I would've put Tommy as far as the board, I would've put Tommy more businessman, because I always thought that's what he done. I thought he was in the business, in the booking and stuff. Obviously, what, I don't know, I'm not sure. Well, he was in it enough that he saw something.
I think one day you
gotta know that there's 20 people on it.
The figures all added up. When they would present the budget, all the board, all the numbers, everything worked out. They even had all their companies, all the good books. This line equal this line, and this line with the total, everything worked out. Even all the numbers. The money was there, obviously, because they took it. But it wasn't being put where they said it.
Yeah.
They would put, scattering it around. Get the community to get that.
No, I did.
Sure, but they were the two handling it.
That video
They gave you the same place with the auditor got, because I mean, there's nothing there, it's just this number, big equals this number, nothing to see. That's how they hit, that's how they get the What disappointed me last year, I would not really think like for the inheritance from his family. Him and his wife they might have earned through it.
She's doing great.
Don't know, evidently they did, or it just, he just won more.
Other than,
They just in business. They surprised. They don't get all it up. They
I'm getting it done. He said he's trying to go over here. We give my
I've never seen one as the other
And I told those guys in Memphis that work for the public works, we've done it all.
But she asked about
The other day, this and them saying, but she was
So, do they get
guy does some report books. He told me when he started, he said, "Oh, that might be something." He said, he got paid. She told him, she said, "Well, they're in my house, and it'll be still on the football court." He dropped everything. Big old rooms way out there with a 60-inch screen TV. Johnny says, "If you walk up to that house and look at the TV," he said, "you can turn around and look behind you, see the bathroom, kitchen, garage." They backed that from two buses. Two motors, two motors, big old blue. Johnny said, "Man, it's a good sound." He said, "What's your phone?" He said, "They're asking $90,000. We got it." They were old, they candy. Johnny said she run out of money. She told, she said, she stopped him on the, I don't know when it was. She told, she said, "Let me get some money built up for it." No, it's okay. He said, "He was concerned about whether he was going to pay for it." He said, "Didn't know whether she had the money to pay it." After mowing contract, he was in the insurance business, he had the medical insurance plan.
They can sit around the table and talk about it.
That's what Don and I said. We said, okay, we'll tell people, okay, we got this, but we're not going to go into move on with it, what? No way.
He don't got the game. I was shocked. I was shocked. It really saved something.
When you get in a conversation, talking more about Steve and things, or anything else, it's like,
I ain't getting all party. One of the things I had there about my deal, I think, this guy, my buddy's right there, going on the top. They was already, Tony Cole sitting up on the left. He's thinking with the guys in front of the car. He said, "That's right."
Oh, there it is.
People went back and said, they were spending money like a horse.
No, it doesn't allow me.
That's the way one of the councilmen is running.
what are you going to do?
That's one of the biggest things last time. We're going to stop it. I think it's great. Now, that don't mean, if something comes up and they can amend it.
I've got a motion, come out of executive session, second. We have a second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mayor, I move that we appoint Roger Hosey as town manager for the town of Landis effective tomorrow, August 6th, and that we authorize the mayor to execute the employment contract with Mr. Hosey regarding the appointment on behalf of the town of Landis.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And say congratulations. I got one statement. I totally support this young man here. I've worked with him for 6 months every day. I've seen I know where we were at when we started, and I know where we're at now. And it's just beginning. He needs everybody's support. And Dr. Eisenhower has been right by his side. Didn't do anything, but he's been right by his side. So, any more comments?
This does help us with the LGC.
Oh, well, yeah, definitely. They're pushing, they've been pushing for this. Make a motion.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
I'll have to admit, I'm hard-headed. I don't think y'all know that. I'm real hard-headed.
You can believe it.
I saw the light, and this is the thing to do. This is the right thing to do.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thanks everyone for waiting and coming out.
Nice to meet you, too. I'm Mary.
You don't know everything. We'll find out.
Thanks,
See you guys. Be safe out there tonight.
Well, it's good seeing you too. I'll see you tomorrow, man.
All right, we got questions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're always
Appreciate you too, sir.
always going to meet tomorrow.
There's like some questions over
You
here.
were in the meeting, you're
I'm
on.
gonna let him do the talking. We pay him to talk.
I'm not town manager. I'm not town manager. I'm a
Okay, but we
Christian.
want to know how this is going to
You're
work.
not
He's
even
gonna be
interim
town
anymore, are
manager
you?
and he's
Take care, Brandon.
Wherever I was down there, they were down there. I was going to get them to, people around the building. And they got some trees on that.
Did y'all not discuss that in the meeting?
We did, I've got a copy, somebody got to be trained. I knew the.
So anyway, I walked down there and saw the sign, I knew